Hi, good afternoon. It's Tuesday, the 8th of April, and I've just finished another two paintings. And tomorrow morning, Tuesday, they're going to be hung with the other two and some other pieces of mine with Helena and Raymond's work. And I think there's a couple of extra pieces in this opportunity. Basically, we've been given opportunity. The National Trust and some other big dignitaries are coming to Queenstown and having a meeting, and it's about hopefully raising some money, and so it's an opportunity. And so opportunities cost time and effort, and they're really worth it. So I just want to show you the two pieces I've got, and then I did film it yesterday, but somehow the laptop wiped it out. Me and computers are not the best of friends, but this little laptop's been behaving itself quite well up until, well, two occasions, one at the private view and one yesterday, so I haven't done too badly for all these vlogs. Now, the thing I want to say to you is, if you have any questions that you'd like to put to me, please could you email me on richard at richardkentonwebb.com, and I'll read them all and go through them, and I'll try and answer them in due course, on one of the vlogs before I leave. So I've got just under 3 weeks left. Now I'm going to show you the work, and then we'll be going to the gallery tomorrow morning, and I'll add this onto this, hopefully if it doesn't wipe it out, and there we go from there. So, the painting, the big painting of Full Moon over Pengarnon, and then the new version, okay, different cloud, then done quite a lot more to this one, and then my version of it here. So if you look, you can see them both. So I'm really playing with the different possibilities, and here we go. Here's some other ideas. I'm probably going to do those ones. The bottom one about boundary. And so look, here we go. Just about to start this one and reworking that painting. And there you go. So, see you soon. The colour is yellow. Hi, I also want to just say about, there's three things I really want to answer. Why yellow? Why have I picked yellow as a colour? And so I want to do a little talk about colour. And I've written some notes and thoughts on that, and so I want to do a talk about colour. I want to do a talk about why print. So you probably think, wait a minute, this chap's a painter, why is he running a printing and drawing course? Drawing and printing course. I want to talk about print as a wonderful possibility. And thirdly, something that's come up a lot is, could you tell me why you've got this vitrine, this kind of museum display that you're putting the landscapes in? I want to do that, and where it's come from. It's something I've used. In fact, I could start on that one straight away. Many years ago, when I was in Provence, I was teaching some students in Provence, and we were outside Marquis de Sade's castle, or ruin of a castle. A terrible fellow he was, and it's a very imposing house structure over the whole of the Luberon Valley. Quite foreboding, very romantic, extraordinary, and the town below, which is where he plucked the ladies and various things from, and anyway, various goings on. But it's an extraordinary place, extraordinary. Anyway, we were outside the town looking at the kind of semi-ruin. Apparently one of his descendants lives there still. Fantastic place, really interesting. And whilst the students were busy kind of just getting started, I was sitting there and thinking about things. And I've been in 1999 and 2000, and then again in 2002, I made a series of 48 drawings both times on the winds of Provence, and showed them at Lindisfarne and showed them elsewhere. So the idea of wind as an idea has been very much in my mind. And it was then, as I was sitting and had a half an hour before I would start touring around talking to the students, and I outplopped a drawing of what I was starting to think about, instead of just the winds, but a wind catcher, or what I called a wind loom, a weaver of the wind, if one could make a kind of contraption or something to catch wind and weave it into something, or listen to the wind. So that's how it began, as a kind of a loom structure holding things. I then made a series of sculptures. You can go onto my website, richardkentonwebb.com, and see a whole series of 22 sculptures for colour forms, and you'll see a number of them have those kind of loom structures. I then used it, so I used it in those sculptures, and then this last couple of years I've been using it as I've been making a series of 100 drawings to Milton's Paradise Lost, and the idea of Satan builds pandemonium, but he's a finite person, he's a created person, and he thinks he's God, and he thinks he's almighty, but it's still a made thing, and he's a made thing, and so it's very much a finite thing, pandemonium, this city of in hell. So I wanted to, as I was drawing it, I didn't want it to, I wanted to have an end to it, a beginning and an end to it. So I put it within one of these kind of museum exhibits, so it's contained. God being infinite isn't contained, but he is contained, and so that's how it started. And then the ideas of putting it within a narrative, so we're looking at narrative. So, and I'm using it here in a similar way, in the way what I'm dealing with is a piece of landscape, a very, very particular piece of landscape in a particular time. It's like a memory, and it's a particular space. It's a there space. It's not there. It's not here. It's there. So it's contained within something, and almost like a three-dimensional thing that one looks around. It's not necessarily about fixed time, but it's all necessarily about fixed memory. But it's like a question. The painting behind me I've called Landscape as Discourse, because it is the way landscape asks questions of us. But it can be a very particular place, and therefore it can be the stuff underneath, it can be the atmosphere, it's the whole thing, which, if it's just like this painting, it's endless. It has an infinite quality about it, whereas these, it's contained. So that's really what I'm trying to. That's why I'm using it at the moment, and I'm in this very, very particular place of Queenstown, and in a very, very particular. If I go up one walk, I see something, and I get fantastic mists at the moment in the morning, and then in later parts of the day, and they completely change the landscape. Like every day I go for a walk, it's completely different, and therefore it's about encapsulating something, and it's a three-dimensional experience of something rather than just a one look, a one. So it's another way around that kind of multi-viewpoint that's played around with by Picasso and Braque, and of course Lanyon. This idea of whole experience, and all the senses are being played with. So that's why I'm using that structure. It comes from something quite a while ago, which helped me to express something. So I'm using it again to express a very specific something that I'm feeling in different places. And they're very different places and very different locations, but it's all around Queenstown. There you go. That's answered that question, hopefully. Hi. I'm just about to take you around Strickter's office and the space that he worked in. Plus also there's a little exhibition with some models, three-dimensional models, which you'll see that I've obviously got very excited about, and put them in that kind of wind loom structure. that kind of museum exhibit, that slice of things. Fantastic photographs of the mine, and then you see the show, and the dignitaries are coming to this afternoon. So all in all, and it's only up for a few days, so enjoy it, and I'll get on with some work.